Okay, welcome everybody. We are ready for our first lecture, launching off our next week of the Weiner Wellness Center. Jamie Dorley, CEO and owner of Nutritional Frontiers and the Weiner Wellness Center, is here to talk about labels. If your labels could talk, medications, supplements, and food. So thank you, Jamie, for being here. I'm going to step back and just learn.
Well, don't go too far away, Tracy, because I like to pull you in. Just when you're trying to get away from me, I like to pull you in. So the topic we're going to talk about today is, if your labels could talk, what would they say? And interesting enough, I found out over the weekend, the labels actually can talk. So we're going to talk about the difference between food, medication, and supplementation, and have a strategy and help you learn on how to read labels. So here's a little of my background. 30 years of doing this. We celebrated our 13th birthday at Nutritional Frontiers. And, you know, I'd like to thank again. I thanked everyone over the weekend. There's so many people. It's hard to list everyone, but I just want to let everyone know there's been thousands of people that helped me out. We have people from our warehouse team, shipping and receiving, product development, marketing, sales, executive. There's so many people involved in this. And of course, it was founded by Dr. Weiner and yours truly. But I've been doing this since 1991, originally from New York, but I moved to Western PA because I love the people in the Pittsburgh area. So I went to Slippery Rock University, my alma mater. We have about 4 people on the team that went to Slippery Rock. And my major was public health. So looking at public health was really looking at patterns and what's the connection between lifestyle and disease. So I've worked as a personal trainer. I sold health club memberships a long time ago at Bally's. I worked in sports nutrition. And for the last 20 plus years, I work with healthcare professionals like yourself, Dr. Tracy, and all these incredible staff and patients out there. So currently own the Nutritional Frontiers and the World of Wellness, the Weiner Wellness Center. And without everyone on the team, Tracy, I would not be here. So I'm very grateful and appreciative of everyone out there. And we're here to help you get education and get you healthy and keep you healthy. So here's a little Dr. Weiner's background. We never forget Doc, of course. Without him, I probably wouldn't know a lot of people I currently do in my life. And I'm all about the people we get to work with and people we get to live with. And, you know, sometimes, you know, we don't realize that we probably spend more time some weeks with our family at work than we do our family at home. And Doc was the ringleader for the team for the last 20 years, and he was a pioneer in natural health for 50 years. So thanks to Dr. Weiner. Without him, we would not all be here. And the Weiner Wellness Center, you know, really run by the facility director, the godfather, Joe Messino. They are doing live consults and telemedicine. So all you need to do is let your fingers do the walking. Call down there, 412-922-WELL. That's 412-922-9355. And the difference on the Weiner Wellness Center and World of Wellness is that we are focusing, Tracy, like you did in your practice, on not so much running for the cure, but what is the cause of your condition? And we deal with all different types of therapies here. So one of my favorites is chiropractic. I had somebody come into the chiropractor here, Dr. Orbach, recently, and he's been going to chiropractic for 30 plus years. And he said he never had an adjustment like Dr. Orbach. We have Dr. Hahnemann here, brand new today. Dr. Phil Ross just went downstairs and he already has patients lined up to see him. So we're excited for all the chiropractors we have. We also have Dr. Adam, muscle therapist. We do functional nutrition, applied kinesiology, and Nate. That's all under the direction of Jeff Niznik. And then we do the Zyto technology. So if you like more of the computerized work, that's with Ashley Rozzi. So do a lot of education, and we're even taking walk-ins. So if you're not feeling real good today, come on down. We'll get you in to see Dr. Phil Ross. So we are accepting new patients. We are doing walk-ins right now. So you don't need to see an appointment right away to see Dr. Phil Ross. However, for anyone else, we highly recommend to make that appointment now and to get in the habit of seeing a natural healthcare professional. And Tracy, we follow your program, which was the NF for Life program. And it's one of those things where get healthy and stay healthy with a maintenance program. But we are not like a typical office where you need to see the doctor 3 times a week forever. Oftentimes the doctor will say, I have no idea how many times I have to see you. I have to see as many times as it is to get you well. And I found between 1 and 5 appointments to get through the initial hurdle. And then you come to our events and then come in periodically, which is every 2 to 4 weeks. But our NF for Life program is our lifestyle program. Tracy, do you have a minute just to chime in? Because this is the program you helped us create. It follows a lot of concepts that I was doing even as a personal trainer 25 years ago. And I just love the concept, I think, because sometimes I feel people think it's either medicine or supplements, right? Am I going to go natural or medicine? But it doesn't have to be like that. Even with supplements, there has to be that lifestyle commitment.
Absolutely. It's the foundation that you build that house of health on. And I always tell people, like, you can't build your house on quicksand. It has to be built on a solid foundation. Otherwise, it's going to sink. And so we start with those foundational principles of nutrition and hydration and movement and sleep, elimination, emotional wellness, and even spiritual wellness. And then on top of that, you want to add the essentials. What is life-giving in food, right? Probiotics and enzymes, macro and micronutrients, good essential fatty acids, amino acids, phytonutrients. All of those things build that house of health. And then if there is that, specific condition issue that you have, it's at the top. And I think what happened, Jamie, is over the years, it got reversed, right? We started to do a pill for an ill and an herb, like you say, green medicine. And, it wasn't any better than the allopathic model. We were chasing symptoms rather than getting to the root. So in my practice, I would reset that client's mindset that it's going to look different with a natural health practitioner. We would reset their foundations. We'd reset their food, their hydration, their movement, their sleep, elimination patterns, all of those things specifically to them. And then once they came back, we would start to remove things that shouldn't be there. So we got them to a point of nutrient density, of really embracing a healthy lifestyle. And then we would move into more strategic protocols like cleanses, like wellness solutions for thyroid or whatever that looked like. And I think what it did was it helped them understand the path and they got educated along the way. So it worked in my practice very well. I think we have put it into over 200 offices when we certified doctors on this, working for their practice. And we build on this. This is where we build from. So good foundations and everything else second. So,
and this isn't anything new with food. I mean, this goes back to 400 BC. I know you weren't around and I wasn't around. I don't even think Joe was around, right? But Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine thy food." Right? If food is where it needs to be, then you don't need medicine. And if you have medicine, then you're not eating the right food. Is with has kind of been the new updated version of this. But no surprise here. We always go for the lifestyle, the foundations of health. All of our healthcare professionals talk about this, and you build it naturally with supplements and food, so that when you get to the condition specific, it's much easier to tweak a program to get the result. But what I found out, Dr. Tracy, is that your labels actually can talk. I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are some devices out there right now you can purchase that when you put your label on them, it will actually read the label for you. I'm just wondering if it's reading it properly and if it's really explaining what you're getting. But there are some interesting devices. So when I was preparing for this, I realized, your labels can talk, but you may not want to hear what they're saying. So that's going to be part 3 of the workshop next time we're out. So
it's fascinating. I've never seen those. Oh. So I'm interested to know more about this. And I'd love to see what they say too.
Yeah. Take more. Yeah. Diet has nothing to do with it. Take your medicine, right? So, I always say start with the food, some simple things that you've taught us, let it come from the ground to the tree. A good portion of your diet, at least half, should be vegetables and fruits. Now, if you're a little more overweight or blood sugar, you cut your fruits back a little bit, but there's no doubt that you need a lot more vegetables in your diet. Raw, organic vegetables. I guarantee you never have to fight your way to that section in the grocery store. It'll never be out of organic vegetables and fruits. So go there and have that as a foundation. If we're making a plate, that should be about half your food. The other part can be a little bit of starchy carbs depending on your weight and blood sugar issues. But go with the fibrous, real food that you're going to find in the perimeter of the grocery store. And if it swims, I love fish. I could eat fish just about every day. In fact, my doctors warned me about eating too much fish However, I've got my levels tested and mercury is fine, heavy metals are fine. But if it flies or runs, so more of the organic version, grass-fed version whenever possible. And if you're eating out, unless they specify that it is, you can pretty much guarantee it is not. So try and get most of your meals from home and from good organic sources. So when you're looking at label reading for food, this is some of the basic things you need to look at and how you should break down a label when you want to see, is this the right thing for you? For me personally, I go right to fiber. If it's a packaged good, I want to know how much fiber is in there, because when the food is processed, they remove a lot of fiber or there's no food in there if it's a complete junk. So this looks at, the other thing is serving size, right? So this is serving size is 1 cup. There's 4 servings per container. So look at a box of cereal, it may say 20 servings, but if you're eating it in 4, each time you're eating 5 servings, so you have to times everything by 5. How many calories are per serving, not per container? So if you're eating chips or Pop-Tarts or something, be careful, because that's calories per serving, not per container. And then they're going to look at the nutrients, quote unquote, loosely labeled as nutrients. So macronutrients are large molecules. So those are measured in grams. So we traditionally talk about macros as your protein, carbs, fat, and I always include fiber in there. That's a part of the carbohydrate. And then it breaks it down to look at what type of fats. So one thing to remember, protein is a building block for all your cells in your body. Plus, it contributes to a lot of enzymatic activity, and you need protein. Not huge amounts, but not no protein either. Moderate amounts, depending on how much muscle you have and what your activity levels are and what your goals are. Then you got to look at carbohydrates and fat as both being energy, and you got to choose. That's why there's a lot of low-carb diets or low-fat. You got to choose one or the other. I like moderate fats, low or no sugars, and high fibers. So that's what works for me. You have to customize the program. And that's the importance, Tracy, of working with a healthcare professional like you or Ashley Rozzi at the Weiner Wellness Center, who really break down the macronutrients and what's best for you. And they have to experiment a little bit until they get used to your body. And then the last thing we look at is the daily value. So that's based usually on a 2,000 calorie diet. And that's just telling you how much of the daily value you're getting. Now, in this one food, one serving is giving you 37% of your sodium. So you got to be careful on things that are packaged because they tend to have more preservatives, one big one being sodium. So that's just a simple way to read a label. And here's an example of one that's probably one of the worst ones on the market, right? Because you see 170 calories. Well, there's 10 servings per container. And I believe the Pop-Tarts still come in 2 per wrapper. So good luck trying to get one of those from Johnny. He's probably going to, not your Johnny, but any kid that's going to eat them, because they tend to eat both of them, right? So you got to double everything. But one pastry, which isn't that filling, got almost 200 calories. It's got a tremendous amount of carbohydrates, 36 grams, sugars, 15, but that includes 15 grams of added sugars. They just started putting fiber in the Pop-Tart, but 3 grams isn't really enough, and there's no protein in here, 2 grams. So you look at some of the values of the vitamins and minerals, really, really low. So this is either junk or food. And what I find, Tracy, and maybe you can share your opinion and thoughts, is that when people eat sugar, they tend to crave a lot more sugar. What do you think?
Absolutely. It actually has a biochemical impact on the brain, on, that leptin and ghrelin balancing. Also, it's a big destroyer of microbiome. So it's going to offset a lot of natural healthy processes in the body with no nutritional value. And, the sad part is, Jamie, people start off their day with Pop-Tarts, and can you imagine sending a kid in with that much sugar, and then asking them to sit and pay attention for 8 hours a day? So I have a story real quick. I don't want to interrupt your thing, but no. I did the Healthy Kids Club, which I got grant funding for a school district in our area, and I did it for 3 years. And I had the honors breakfast kids come in, right? They were all like the super smart kids, and they were getting this great honors breakfast because they did so good. And they sat down, they had donuts. I'm not telling you, they're the size of their face, right? With like all this icing. And before they ate them, because I'd been working with these kids for a while, I said, I want everyone to take their resting heart rate. So everyone ate, took their resting heart rate, ate their donut. Nobody moved. And I said, okay, now I want you to take your resting heart rate. Their heart rates were almost 15 to 20 beats higher per minute.
Wow.
They didn't even move. And now I was like, good luck, teachers. Like now they have to go focus. So it does impact. It really does.
Yeah. And the brain's feeding on glucose. So if your sugars are up and down, your mood's up and down. First thing I ask my kids, if they're struggling or they're feeling stressed or anxiety or overwhelmed, what did you eat today? What did you eat yesterday? Did you work out? Dad, I know. Well, just do it then, right? Because the fuel source for the brain is glucose. And if the levels are up and down, well, that's how you're going to feel. That's why a lot of people do well when they cut sugar out. I'm not big in extremes, but look at something like an apple, right? One big apple, 95 calories, right? Pretty much zero fat, zero cholesterol. It has 25 grams of carbs, but 4.4 grams of fiber. And the sugar in there is fructose, not high fructose corn syrup. That's a big difference on how the body responds, because with that percentage there of fiber, it's not going to release as quickly into the body. So an apple a day, they always say, right? And there's no other ingredients in there. It's all natural. So choose foods that you would find in nature, even if the grocery store was closed. So you got to be careful, because a lot of the food, even the healthy food, has a decrease in the nutrient content, right? That's why we do what we do. Over 50%, they're saying about 60, maybe more right now, percent of the meals are eaten outside the home, either takeout, order in, or at a restaurant. So buyer beware. But some of the most common things, Tracy, magnesium down 88% in greens.
Wow.
One of our top sellers at Nutritional Frontiers is magnesium, right? And so important of a mineral for everything from muscle to mind to heart. Over 300 biochemical reactions require magnesium. And even UPMC said 90% of people are deficient in magnesium. Should be the first thing you take when we have Mag Complete, of course. So I look at Breakfast of Champions. You mentioned, what do people start their day with? I was just talking to someone last weekend, and they says, well, I don't eat anything. I says, do a shake for breakfast every day. That's all. I want you to start, do one shake a day, every day for 30 days and see how you feel. Because what people are choosing are things that they consider healthy. Have you ever had anyone say, oh, I'm eating good, I'm eating Wheaties or Special K or, Raisin Bran, those type of, Total. Right.
Well, like you said, they don't know.
Yeah. And that's okay, right? Don't get discouraged. I'm glad you're not eating Fruity Pebbles every day. But if you look at the ingredients, this is pretty much sugar and wheat, right? So what this is going to do to the body is going to give you a big influx of sugar release. Then your blood sugar is going to be off. You're going to feel tired. And you're going to crave some kind of stimulant, which is usually sugar, caffeine, or nicotine. So I recommend everyone does the super shake or power cleanse for breakfast, right? You can do power cleanse, super shake, keto, or best way. But the power cleanse has a complete meal plus a vitamin and mineral right in one smoothie. And we have the new pineapple coconut flavor. Have you tried that?
It is my favorite, and I have it right here mixed with my lean greens. I'm ready.
Right on cue. So when you do the power cleanse and the lean greens, just to back up a little bit, that will take care of every step of the pyramid. You want to make sure your pyramid's covered every day. Do 1 scoop of power cleanse, 1 scoop of lean greens, and that will cost you less than a Starbucks coffee. So a great way to start every day. You're going to give the body all the nutrients it needs. And Tracy, I know one of the questions I get from people is, does it make you feel full?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. And, Jimmy, you can spice it up the way you like it. You don't just have to do 1 scoop. You can put strawberries in it, blueberries, and, whatever you want, a scoop of good fats, almond butter, or even like, coconut oil. Some people make it with organic coconut milk, like real coconut milk. That makes it delicious. So, and it's good just in water. So I don't do anything special to mine. I do lean greens and power cleanse, and now I've added a scoop of the power fuel just because I felt like I was like trying to overcome a little bit of a cold, and that actually added a nice fruity taste to it. So it's really good. So you can do it. Have a lot of fun with this.
Some people are asking, what's the difference between these two? Well, the Wheaties is pretty much sugar, right? That's for eating. You might as well eat a donut, enjoy it. So the Power Cleanse is very balanced because it has protein, carbs, fat, and fiber, plus vitamins and minerals and liver support. So this is excellent. So it's saying it tastes great, but it had about 7 grams of sugar. Actually, the Power Cleanse has 3 grams from evaporated cane juice. So very low in total sugars. So very good to take because you're getting a balance of that naturally occurring sugars in there with the fiber too. So the other part of it you got to look at is the protein content. So you need a good balance of each of those in there. And like we were showing, the apple may have a little more sugar in it, but an apple has a lot of fiber and it's naturally occurring. So it's always the balance of the macronutrients. That's why I'm not all about, all one or all the other. So the difference between the Super Shake and the Power Cleanse is that the Power Cleanse has your vitamin and mineral in it, plus carbohydrates. The Super Shake is very low in carbs. Super Shake has protein, fiber, good fats, and low carbs without the vitamin and mineral or liver support. Just 2 different options. Sometimes I do the Super Shake, which is vegan. The Power Cleanse is vegan. Sometimes I do the Power Cleanse. And this is another reason why it's really good to meet with a healthcare professional like Ashley Rozzi or Jeff Niznik, Dr. Honeyman, to really help customize the program where even when you're in during the Wellness Week, you can meet with us at no cost. So Shake of the Day Club is accepting new members. That's me on Easter morning doing my shake because I knew I was going to eat a little more food that day. So I do a nice shake every morning, even on the holidays. So let's look at medication. So this is just a simple label of a very common medication called metformin, which is prescribed for diabetics. So oftentimes it's given for type 2 and sometimes for type 1. Now we know we can help type 2 diabetics by reducing their sugar and carbohydrate intake and increasing their activity and protein intake. But this breaks down all the different parts of a label on a medication. So the pharmacy in the name, the patient in the name of the drug and the strength, the directions, the physical description of the drug, the pharmaceutical manufacturer, all the different things on there. When was the prescription written, how to take the drug, data was filled. So very, very detailed information on the label of the medication, just on the outside. So let's take a look at an over-the-counter medication, right? This is Tylenol, very commonly consumed by adults, right? This is for fever and for pain. The generic is called acetaminophen. And let's look at the back of it, right? So you have the drug facts, the ingredient and the purpose, the uses, right? People know what it's for. Any kind of pain and maybe some cold and flu type of issues, especially if you have a fever. But look at number 3, Tracy, warnings. This product contains acetaminophen. Severe liver damage may occur if you take more than 4,000 milligrams taken with other drugs containing acetaminophen. 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day while using this product. Now, for some people, that's not a lot, 3 drinks, right? And for other people, it may be. But what if you have 1 drink and maybe you take acetaminophen and then maybe you're eating trans fats? You can have negative synergy occurring. I think that's my biggest concern, right? It may also cause allergic reactions, blisters, rash, skin reddening. Don't use if you have any other drugs, if you're not sure whether a drug contains it, if you ever had a allergic reaction. I mean, this is for an over-the-counter medications. How common is it for you to see people with elevated liver enzymes?
Yeah, probably, absolutely. A lot.
Yeah, and then a lot of those are called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, right?
Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, it's actually a macrophage, like your body's own immune system fighting against you. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I think long term, we're going to, maybe not even long term, but in the next 2 years, we're going to see more and more autoimmune conditions, right? And these are these are drugs. They're over the counter, but they are drugs, right? It even says right on the back of the bottle, drug facts. So make sure that you are very careful if you take these. These were designed as miracle pain relievers. They're supposed to be used in very, very small dosages and on special occasions if somebody can't get relief through other methods. However, we found from all the research, the people that use acetaminophen, ibuprofen, they're chronic users and heavy users. They'll use these from everything from mild pain to menstrual cramps to headaches to even using the PM versions for sleep. So be very careful when taking these. Let's look at another over-the-counter medication, right? These are OTCs. And this is Zantac. Have you heard of Zantac?
Yep, I sure have.
Yeah. So the FDA warned that it had detected, of course, low levels of a cancer-causing chemical in the samples of the drug. So as Tracy would say, a little bit of poison every day adds up to a lot. So as certain companies were pulling this off the shelves, such as Walgreens, Rite Aid, and CVS, I've been on the road trip that in a couple of days later, and I was at the airport right next to the register, a big display for Zantac. This is at Hudson News at the Pittsburgh airport. So, folks, you got to do your homework on this. You got to be aware of what's going on because, you know, when certain companies are being told to pull this, not everyone is getting the memo. So here's an example. This is thought to be a safe over-the-counter. It is not. Because it does block your acid production. And what happens too is that now it's got cancer-causing chemicals in it. So what could you do instead? We're not making any claims, of course, but how about using a natural digestive aid and changing your diet up, such as Probzyme? Now, this is the original formula at Nutritional Frontiers. It's probiotics and enzyme. And the great thing, it's in a chewable form. We have 3 different flavors. Have you used Probzyme before with you or your kids?
Yep, it's a favorite in our house. Absolutely. My kids like the grape.
Oh, I love grape. We got cherry and fruit punch. My kids know when they have a bellyache to go to Probzyme. I take it on vacation. We might be eating some richer food on vacation and drinking water from different sources. So it's always good to travel with Probzyme. And I even take it without food. I take those now every morning with my probiotics, the superbiotics. I've just gotten the habit of doing that, and I feel better. So I'll do 2 of these twice a day. Probzyme you can take any time. You can take it for acute relief, and you can take it with the meal too. So great way to help with acute and chronic digestive support. So what about prescription medications, Tracy? Let's take one of the most common prescribed medications, Lipitor. And just the fact that it comes in 10, 20, and 40 milligram dosage is concerning to me because, you know, that's 4 times the amount, 400% of the lowest dose. So some people actually take 5 milligrams, but some are taking 40 or higher of Lipitor, which is really designed to lower cholesterol. It's in the statin group of medications. Now, I don't think that most people have high cholesterol. And if they do, how high is it and what's causing it? Cholesterol is just a repair mechanism in the arterial walls for inflammation, no different than having a crack in your wall and you put plaster on it. That's what the cholesterol is doing. So the cholesterol isn't the problem. The inflammation is the problem. What's causing that? Oh, that could be anything. It could be cigarettes, could be poor diet, could be stress, could be alcohol, could be toxic exposure, heavy metals. There's many different causes of what this issue is. So, see how I put the effects of Lipitor? You know, this is not a complete list of possible effects. If you notice these, let them know. It says, remember, this is right from the insert. Your doctor's prescribed this medication because he or she has judged the benefit to you is greater than the risk of the side effect. Really? How are they making that determination? How are they making that judgment? How do they know? Are they factoring all the other side effects of other medication you have, all your underlying causes, your genetics, your predispositions for these, your lifestyle? So many, I love that word, many. How many is many? The other day I found out when someone used that word many, it was 2 people, right? Other times many means a lot, right? So many people using this medication do not have serious side effects. I love this note. A very small number will have mild memory problems or confusion. Really? Well, I think that's an issue, even if it's mild. They're saying that the cause of dementia, one of the primary causes, is the over recommendation of statin medications. And Tracy, why are they recommending so many statins? Wasn't it to help with heart disease?
Yeah, absolutely. They wanted to reduce cholesterol, right? And
that's the cause of heart disease. And has heart disease gone up or down?
Up. So, it's not working, Jamie.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. That is the conclusion. It's not working, folks. Right. And now they're saying rarely will these cause or worsen. So they're saying it may even cause or worsen diabetes. Right. That's a lot of problems. And again, I don't want the judge to be the doctor, because you have good and bad doctors, right? So the other problem is the issue with muscle pain, weakness, and tenderness. And this is very common as a potential effect of Lipitor, and then kidney problems. So why is a muscle issue occurring? Well, when you look at it, cholesterol-lowering drugs such as statins block CoQ10 production in the liver by an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase. Well, CoA, it also is the same enzyme that creates CoQ10, which is involved for energy production in all your muscle, your liver, your brain, and your heart. So do you see the connection when you're taking these cholesterol-lowering drugs that you may lower CoQ10 by as much as 40% in Lipitor? It's not a guess, it's a conclusion. Wow, that'd be like shutting down the power in your house 40%. Could you imagine? That would be 40% of the power in your house not working. That would be a big issue. So we'd recommend something like Cholesterol Red. This is a comprehensive synergistic formula. I'm not making any claims here, but some people have done very well on Cholesterol Red. It has everything from red yeast rice, phytosterols, Google lipids. It also has the trace minerals, vitamin B3, which is niacin, and the CoQ10. So excellent way to address this naturally with the NF for Life program, right? So it's saying here, the only time I was registered for elevated cholesterol was when I was on birth control. Also called me high LDLs. It was progesterone only mini dose, but it put me in the worst health of my life, ruined my gut for a year. Well, again, it started with, it looks like birth control, right? And elevated cholesterol. So as Dr. Weiner said, anything can cause anything, right? And be open-minded because everybody's different and you never know what's going to set somebody off. So let's look at a supplement fact. So the supplement fact is similar to a food fact in that it'll have serving size. In this example, 1 tablet. It'll have the amount per serving. It'll have the amount of the daily value, right? And then if it doesn't have a daily value, if it's an herb or another ingredient, it'll just have an asterisk there. It'll tell you the ingredient and the form it's in. And Tracy, that's a really important part, is the form of the nutrient. So I always look at dose, form, and then what else is in there. What's your thoughts on the form?
They should be the most bioavailable, right? Because a lot of people have digestive issues or genetic issues that can keep them from breaking down nutrition. So the most bioavailable should be what we utilize.
I'm a simple guy for most of the time, so I like things explained to me in a simple way. So people say, well, it's vitamin C. What's the difference? Or vitamin D. If it's D2 or D3, it doesn't matter. Well, think about like a pair of gloves, right? If you're putting on a pair of gloves, the left glove may go on the right hand, but it doesn't really fit right. That's how these forms are in the body. If the cell doesn't look at the form of the vitamin and the proper fitting mechanism, it's not going to attach to the cell and have a therapeutic benefit. So be careful. You want to make sure you're getting the right ingredients at the right amounts in the right forms without the other things in there. If you're not sure, bring your bag of vitamins down to the Wellness Week. At no cost, I'll review them for you, and I guarantee I'll be able to cut them by at least 50% of what you're taking and get you some more comprehensive formulas. So why take a multivitamin? People used to say, oh, you're just paying for expensive urine, or those vitamins don't really do anything. Well, folks, your food has multivitamins in there, vitamins and minerals, but diets vary, grow seasons vary, stress is at the all-time high in our world, soil quality issues, herbicides, pesticides, and just nutrient depletions by medications alone is one of the top causes of death in the U.S. You add in disease states, stress, aging, you get the idea. So not only that, it was so overwhelming that, are you familiar with JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association?
Mm-hmm.
So two doctors from a well-known school, of course, it's not Slippery Rock, but how about Harvard Medical School? Dr. Fairfield and Dr. Fletcher said that because low vitamin intake has been linked to a host of illnesses, they recommend that everyone means everyone, not some, not young, not old, not sick, everybody, regardless of age or health status, takes a multivitamin. So that means 350 million Americans need to take a multivitamin. That is clear as day. And so a doctor asked me, well, when did that come out? Well, that came out in June of 2002. How do I know? I got the copy that month. I read it. We reviewed it with our team. And it was the first time in 40 years that the American Medical Association changed their position, Tracy, from eat right to eat right and take a multi. The only problem was they didn't tell us what multivitamin to take. So lo and behold, what did most people take? The number one selling vitamin on the market, cheapest, easiest to access, and that's what happened. However, we have a more therapeutic formula called Frontier Multi and then Women's Complete. You can take 1 to 4 of these per day, depending on personal preference, health status, diet, and lifestyle. And here's the actual article from June of 2002, acknowledging the role of vitamins for chronic disease prevention in Americans. Recently reversed a long-standing anti-vitamin stance. If you didn't hear that, I'm going to repeat it again, Tracy. JAMA recently reversed a long-standing anti-vitamin, not only supporting vitamin, but they're against vitamins, by publishing 2 scientific reviewed articles recommending multivitamin supplements for adults. Wow.
That's awesome. When was that study put out?
June 2002.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
So recent.
We're knocking, but no one's home, right? When I show this to the traditional or conventional medical doctor, oh, where did you get that from? Did you make that up? No, doc, this was out. Oh, yeah, well, it doesn't matter what kind of vitamin to take. I said, actually, it does. Does it matter if you give them Lipitor or a generic? What kind of car do you drive? What kind of clothes do you wear? There's a big difference between name brand and generic. So research proves we need a multivitamin. There's clear benefits in taking a multivitamin. In fact, when we did all the patient surveys, they found that people tend to take a multivitamin as a first choice in supplements. And they asked why. About 50% of people said overall health and wellness. So people are starting to get it. It's not quite as foreign as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. People understand that they need a multivitamin. The challenge is they don't know which one to take. So we're going to help you come up with a good criteria of choosing the right multivitamin. Because you make the wrong choice and decision, that can not only not give you the benefit, but it may be detrimental. So I recommend Nutritional Frontiers, of course. We have other companies at the Wellness Center. Douglas Labs is great. I worked at Metagenics for years. We work with Biotics, Standard Process. The professional companies are going to have much better doses, much better forms, and a reduction or elimination in ingredients we don't want. So always look at that. The dose of the ingredients, the form, and the other ingredients in there we don't want. So the nice thing with the Nutritional Frontiers is the dose is that we have therapeutic doses. It's in a vegetable cap, and the caps are much easier to swallow and absorbed in large tablets. The reason companies use large tablets is they don't have to pay for the capsules. And I guess when you're making hundreds of millions of tablets per year, that saves you in a lot of capsules, and a lot of pennies add up. And then you look at the dose. It says RDA, recommended daily allowance, otherwise known as, what Mikey G would say, really dumb amounts. These are not going to give you any kind of therapeutic benefit. RDI, a little bit better. And the DRI is a new one, dietary reference intake. But still, they're not giving you therapeutic dosing. So 1 is the dose. 2 is the form. We use vegetarian capsules. So it's great for vegetarians or vegans. Also, people like me, I don't like big tablets that are hard to digest and swallow. And the nutrients are absorbed at a much greater rate because the veggie cap will break down much easier. It's just made from cellulose or fiber. So really easy to taking it and absorbing it really well. So the form of the ingredients is vital, because if your body does not identify it, it will not absorb it, assimilate it, use it, and excrete it properly. About the only part you're going to get is the full excretion. And I don't have the slide here. I apologize. But you want to comment on the slides we have with the Centrum vitamin that was basically not absorbed?
Yeah, Paulina Petrusevich shared that with us. She is a certified nutritionist at 7.7 Nutrition and owner of those facilities. And she was commenting that she had a X-ray of people that took Centrum for 3 days. And you could see, from day 3 to day 1, where the Centrum was in the digestive tract, that it didn't break down at all. It was intact. And then she actually said that at the end of the study, when that person had a bowel movement, the Centrum came out with the word Centrum still printed on the capsule or on the tablet. I was like, wow.
Yeah, we've heard about those horror stories, and toilets being clogged at people's houses, and chiropractors seeing them on x-rays. So really important you get the right forms. Magnesium oxide and cal carbonate, if those are the first and 2 ingredients on the vitamin, put it back on the shelf. So we're here at Nutritional Frontiers in the Wine and Wellness Center to help you make these decisions with you so you get the best formulation. And we use the tracks. Those are the real amino acid chelates. Your body identifies them and absorbs them like a protein. If you're not using trax minerals, then you need to look for that word trax or albion on the label. If not, it's inferior. It may still be good, it's just not the best. So 1 is the dose, 2 is the form, and 3 is, what are the other ingredients out there? I know some people use liquid vitamins. You got to be flavor of colorings, dyes, additives, artificial flavorings. So a lot of leading over the counters, such as Centrum, we look on the label, it has things like cornstarch. Ooh, talc. Didn't J&J just pay off huge lawsuits for talc being a contributing factor to cancers? That's really scary. That's in a multivitamin. Hydrogenated oil, artificial food colorings, polyvinyl alcohol. Folks, you don't want to take a vitamin and add to your toxicity level. So you have things in here you should not be ingesting. I mean, look at the other ingredients. It's probably longer than the elite ingredients of the actives. Plus, they have all low-dose artificial forms and inferior forms, things like folic acid and synthetic E and synthetic vitamin D. Folks, do not take these store-brand bought vitamins. Supplements, as we were saying earlier, you got to look at what's actually in there, what's the serving size, the forms of the ingredients, the dosages, and all the extra ingredients you don't want. Here's another example. This is a prenatal, right? 1 a day prenatal. It's saying do not take this vitamin, low choline, low poor forms of absorbability, and too many other ingredients we don't like. Here's another version of Centrum for women, right? Wow. The folic acid is synthetic folic acid. Tracy, can you comment on that? Because some people say, well, it's just folic acid. What's the difference?
Well, it's a synthetic form of the vitamin folate. And, it wouldn't be a problem if we had optimal digestion or if we didn't have any genetic mutations that decreased our body's ability of breaking it down to its most bioavailable form. So the MTHFR mutation, which is a gene that codes the usage and breakdown of folic acid to folate. And people that have that mutation, about 50% of our population has it. They can't get to the most bioavailable form of folate. So we need something in a better form. It's a synthetic. It can build up in the liver. It can be toxic to our body, especially if you have the MTHFR gene mutation. And obviously, like, you know, what's natural is best. Our body's going to identify with something natural versus something that's synthetic. So
yeah, this form is 0 for 3, right?
Right.
The dosages are poor, the forms are worse, and the other ingredients are unbelievable. You know, calcium carbonate, mag oxide, bulking agents, artificial colorings and dyes, additives. I do not recommend this for anyone. Do not take it. You'd be better off not taking anything. So, especially for a woman in childbearing years, do not take these, folks. So what should you take? How about Woman's Complete? 7 patented research trademarked ingredients, the right forms of active vitamins, chelated minerals, a woman's wellness complex, including lactospore, a probiotic specifically for a woman, superfoods, and a veggie capsule. It has all the active forms of the right ingredients in the right ratios, in the right forms, in the right delivery, without any of the ingredients you don't want. Here's just a breakdown, really simple. You have all the active ingredients. And then you see things in here you will not see in any type of vitamin out there, especially over the counters. Things like DMG, dimethylglycine. What about the lactospore, the probiotic, the superfoods? All in there in a veggie cap. So I recommend 1 to 4 capsules per day. It'd be great to take all during your childbearing years, from menstruation all the way through menopause. Another one we want to look at is Essential Silver for men over 50. Again, a lot of what I call window dressing or fairy dust. They do add a little bit of lycopene in micrograms, not milligrams. Not real impressive. So Frontier Multi has 6 times as much C and B2. And Tracy, are you aware of the most expensive vitamin in a multivitamin?
I am, since you told me what it was a long time ago, and I learned that. It's the B vitamins, right?
B vitamins, right? And ours has 33 times more B12. Now, don't say it's too much. B vitamins are involved in rebuilding the brain. All your neurotransmitters need B vitamins to build. There are a lot of companies will call them stress B. So you need more B vitamins, not less. Have you ever had anybody overdose from vitamins?
Not in my 20 years of practice. Nope.
No, never happens. Now, the obvious winner is Woman's Complete and Frontier Multi. There's your 2 options for multivitamins. Last one I want to touch base on just for a couple of minutes is fish oil. Because when I was looking up some fish oils out there, it is unbelievable. Folks, I don't care how many milligrams are on the front of the bottle. If you learn anything today, when you look at a fish oil, what you want to do is look at EPA and DHA. So someone's saying, forget Centrum, that's too outdated. Well, it may be outdated, but it is the #1 selling multivitamin on the market, sales in excess of $700 million, owned by Wyeth Pharmaceutical. So it may be outdated for people that know, but there are many people in our country that don't know, and that's why it sells. I mean, that's more than, you know, a couple of the largest companies' complete sales put together, right? 700 million.
And, you know, she was saying to compare it to some more reputable brands. You know, my comment to that is those brands have every opportunity to come out like we do and educate the communities on their product. They just choose not to. So, and that's not a crack. It's just a fact. So we are big on education. And Jamie, you know all those guys from these industries. And
yeah, you know what? I will next time. Woman's Complete, I'll compare that versus anybody's multivitamin on the market, any prenatal on the market. And she used Now brand. Oh, gosh. Now's brand of fish oil came out with extremely high levels of mercury. So not a good one to compare it to. We did that actually 14 years ago in Shipshewana, Indiana, with Dr. Weiner and myself and Dr. Willie Kressner and the group out in Indiana. So I have no problem doing that. We've done that many times, but I'm not here. And I've mentioned there's a lot of good brands we carry in the Weiner Wellness Center, including Douglas Labs, including Metagenics, including Standard Process. I don't consider Olympian and Nature's Way brands of the top line, but we carry those here also. So we carry about 20 different brands of multivitamins. I'm just showing you the one that I'm involved in with the formulations. And when you look at the Woman's Complete, I challenge somebody to show me a woman's vitamin or a men's vitamin with 7 patented research trademarked ingredients that has all the ingredients that we do in there, including the lactose spore. So, I would definitely challenge that. And what about Joe DiMattio's brand? Well, I'm very familiar with Joe DiMattio's brand. I've been working with Joe and Len and Joey Jr. because Joe did pass away 3 years ago. So I've worked with their team for 20 years now on formulations and putting together products. I'm not a big believer in tablets. And again, patented research, trademarked ingredients are the way to go. So one last thing on fish oil is that EPA and DHA, these are the 2 main ingredients in fish oil. So when you're looking at fish oil, do not buy brands that have low EPA and DHA content, okay? You want to buy brands that have high levels of EPA and DHA, including Nutritional Frontiers, including companies like Metagenics. These have the higher levels of EPA and DHA because if they don't, what you get is a lot of pro-inflammatory oil. And when you're looking at our fish oil, I know nobody has a stronger liquid than we do because that's as strong as you can get in that size in a serving. So our liquid has 2,800 milligrams of omega-3s. That's 1,400 EPA and 925 DHA. So that's just an overview of comparing or really reading labels for food, medications, over-the-counter and prescription, and supplementation. So any other questions, Tracy?
No, I think that was a great explanation. And, I mean, there's lots of brands out there, so it is overwhelming and confusing for people to walk into a place and make a good educated decision. But this is really helpful. And the new studies on brain health and the amounts of EPA and DHA are very important for people to pay attention to ever-changing science. It applies not only to allopathic, but also nutraceuticals. And we try to stay up on it as best as possible.
Yeah, and someone's asking a couple questions. One is a triglyceride form. Yes, that's a TG on the label. It says as TG. That's triglyceride form. I'm a big believer in high EPA and DHA because I don't know if you're aware of this, Tracy, but in the manufacturing process, if we came out with a high fish contains EPA and DHA, so we come out with just a high DHA product, we're removing the EPA. Guess who's paying for that? The customer. So we don't believe in pulling out the EPA. The body needs both in exact ratios, and you can convert some back and forth. That's why we don't have just a high DHA product. I feel it's very misleading to the public, and I don't think that's the right way to go. We use the natural forms of the fish oil. These are all from Norway. These are pharmaceutical grade, third-party assayed. We have those right on our website. And there's only about 3 huge suppliers of fish oil. It's up to the company to determine what they want in there versus what they don't want in there. And we like high EPA and high DHA content.
Yes, sir. Exactly. High EPA, high DHA.
Well, thanks so much. I love the compliments. I love the questions. The easy ones I like, and I like the hard ones too. I appreciate all the support out there. We got some great people listening and watching, and we're real excited. We'll be down here all week. I'd be more than happy if you want to bring any brands in to compare them. We sell these other brands, Douglas Labs and Metagenics, Nutritional Frontiers, Olympian, Standard Process, Biotics, Integrative Therapeutics, and probably another half dozen or so I'm forgetting.
That's okay. If they stop in, they'll be able to see them all. A question in the chat. When is the Weiner Wellness Week?
That's a great question. So the Weiner Wellness Week is right now.
Right now.
Come on down. It's going on from May 8th, which was 2 days ago, to May 15th, which is this Saturday. We're open all week, 8 to 5 every day, and Monday and Wednesday we're here till 7 p.m. So if you want to come down, I'll be here all week. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody, answer any questions, help you out. We got the free food truck here at lunchtime, Monday through Friday, right here in Pittsburgh, PA, 2419 Baldwick Road.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jamie, so much for all that information. Great presentation. So we are up next with Caroline Golmick. She is CHHP, working through her Trinity schooling right now, and a certified natural health professional. She's going to be talking about foundational health within the digestive system. So stay tuned for
seriously, this is the Wine and Wellness Week. She's asking, when is it? It's right now. That's why we're doing
right
this.
now. Yeah, right now. So we are open. You can come in and, shop. You can order by phone if you want, 30 to 50% off select supplement lines. Lectures all week long, running virtually here for you to enjoy. So yeah, come on in, stop down, give a call. We're open.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day, and God bless. See you at noon.
All right.